Everybody, and welcome to Home Groups, where we get to apply the message we heard on Sunday. I actually got to speak on Sunday in week 2 of When Life Gives You Lemons about Joseph's life.
Yeah. And for a little bit of a previously on, we're studying through Joseph's life this month. And the first week we heard about his dreams that he had and how great he would be. And when he shared those dreams with others, they decided to kill those dreams and break him down. And that led to a lot of anger with his brothers, to the point that they wanted to kill him. And they actually decided, let's not kill him. That's too much. Let's sell him into slavery. So they actually did that. They sold Joseph into slavery. And that's where we kind of picked up the story this week. And we talked about how when he was sold into slavery, bad things were happening. And he ended up being sold into the man at Potiphar's house. But while he was in slavery, he worked hard. He focused on what couldn't be taken away from him. And that's one of our points today. And he ended up becoming the highest ranking servant in the house. He became very important to Potiphar. And then temptation came his way. Potiphar's wife actually tried to seduce him and take him as her own. The Bible says he was handsome and she wanted him. So he's sold into slavery. He has literally nothing. Everything is taken from him, but he decides to focus on what can't be taken from him.
Yeah, his freedom had been taken, his favorite status, the love from his father, all of that was lavished upon him in his young age. And here he found himself without his freedom, without his possessions, without the love from his father, without the status that he had within that community. Even his own culture and history had been taken. He was in a completely new place, but he focused on the things that they couldn't take from him. His integrity, his diligence. He buckled down and he worked hard with what he was given. They couldn't take God's presence from him. They couldn't take his willingness to learn and jump in and get the job done no matter what. He was able to apply himself in that moment, even though pretty much everything we would consider as blessings in his life were taken.
And Jesus actually talked about how you can be blessed in these really hard situations. He said in Matthew 5, verse 3, God blesses those who are poor, which it seems backwards. He blesses those who are poor and realize their need for him, for the kingdom of heaven is theirs. He blesses those who mourn, for they will be comforted. He blesses those who are humble, for they will inherit the earth. These are just 3 of the things he explains that you'll be blessed when these happen. So Joseph is sitting there as a slave. He's sad. He's hungry. He doesn't have his own things. But God will bless those who are in those situations. You can look for blessings in those situations. You just need to hold on to who God made you to be and who God is. Through all those things, it says that God was with Joseph. And I believe that Joseph was with God. He honored God and he refused to be tempted through those hard times. He refused to be pulled away from who he had defined himself as being.
Yeah, sometimes in those situations when we're at our lowest, we tend to think, I'm going to take control back over my life. Obviously, what I heard from God didn't happen, or those dreams were just silly childhood dreams. I need to take control of my life again, and I'm going to go get what's mine. I'm in it for me. And Joseph could have easily, when he was tempted by Potiphar's wife, could have easily said, this is my reward. I'm going to take what's mine in this case. I'm going to take what's offered to me and do what I can to make my life the best that it can be. But he didn't. He chose to trust God's plan for his life. He knew that God wouldn't approve of that decision, and so he didn't do it.
When that temptation came, even though, when we're hungry or tired, we're more likely to give into temptation, that extra cookie or some ice cream or maybe some worse things than those. He didn't. He still stood, even though that would have been the time to give in. And so we need to define ahead of time who we are and have a plan so that we can find the blessing, so that we can't be changed by what life does to us. We can change our life in spite of what life might do. So in your groups today, it'd be great if you could talk about what are the things that define you as a Christian, that won't be taken away from you, those rock solid foundational items that you can define yourself by, so you'll never be changed.
And also how to avoid temptation. What are some strategies that maybe Joseph used that you can apply in your life for avoiding those areas where you're more often tempted?
Have a plan and have a great conversation.
Bye, guys.